Talbot.
Here. We don't have any old business, we got new business. Jennifer, y'all got the monthly financials Jennifer just gave us. I know she's been busy, so we didn't get them early, y'all.
Okay.
So we just have to look at these at a later date, and see, if there's have any questions, we can address or call our office, whatever.
Okay.
Discussion 2016 budget amendments and 17 budget. I know you're struggling with that because of the flood. Think you'll have it by the end of the month?
I will.
Okay.
We'll make it
Now
happen.
look, guys,
It's not going to be
it's
a
not gonna be
normal standard
accurate.
of work. It's going to have to be changed multiple times as we get information in on what we're gonna do for ad valorem, what the sales tax is trending like, what our insurance is gonna reimburse versus what FEMA's gonna reimburse, so as we find out what our health insurance renewal rates are gonna be, we're still waiting on multiple pieces of information, so it's gonna be bare bones.
Work in progress,
Okay.
that's fine.
And so, because that's what we talked about, we're probably actually gonna get a bump, even though we had some days where businesses were closed and we've got some areas that closed. We're probably gonna realize a bump, maybe not in August, but definitely by September, because, I bought a car, I got friends of mine that bought 3 or 4 cars, so, we're gonna get the sales tax off of new automobiles. We're gonna get the sales tax off building materials that are bought, because both those are delivered and then charged based on where they're delivered. So we're gonna realize a bump along those lines. The issue's gonna be what happens in the first quarter when the construction's over with and people are paying notes on that they didn't have before and their discretionary income, is reduced as where the impacts are gonna be. So I think, for the end of the year, I think we're probably gonna be fine. We're not gonna realize problems on reassessments until, they're not gonna even go out till February or March, so that money's not gonna be collected until May or June, where it normally is collected, starting to collect in December. So we're gonna be behind on getting that revenue. But the one thing we gotta look at is we only have 2.3 something mills on property taxes
For the general
for the
fund?
parish, for the general fund. We only have two.
Yeah, it's 2.32 and 1.16.
Yeah, so depending on where it's located, so some of that, and then we don't get a lot of property taxes out of the Denham Springs area anyway, which is probably the hardest hit area. So, how it affects this year's budget might not be much at all. It's gonna be what it looks for down the road in 2017. It's gonna be hard to project.
We're trending a little bit above in sales tax. We're over $500,000 up right now. And we're 7 months in on collections.
Right.
Because we run 2 months
You
behind.
talking about
so-
year to date, so.
Year to date so
So
far
that's
this year.
helping us a little bit when we.
Right, so we'll be okay this year, but next year we may have to get creative.
Yeah, that's where that's where you're gonna find, that's when the bills are, that's when our 10%'s gonna be due, and that's when, we're gonna find out what portion insurance will cover, whether that'll be considered as part of our 10% match. Am I correct? That's some of the considerations?
I do not think so. I think because they have requested, the guys that are working for Go7, they're stationed at our office to help us once we create the PW to pass it through the correct channels. And they know the little nitpicky stuff that we can go ahead and submit now and avoid a hold up, like the year, make, and model of the trailer. If we say we pulled a trailer to pick up whatever, that FEMA requires you have that information that we typically wouldn't think about, and they're will tell us, no, you have to put this on there too. So they're helping us get our correct information submitted in timely, but I think they're starting from, because they've requested copies of the insurance policy, they're gonna start from what the insurance doesn't cover.
I got you.
So I do not believe that will be counted towards our match.
Okay. Any more discussion on B? C, review of all contract change orders incurred August 2016. We talked about that briefly at the last meeting. We signed a contract on the jail. That's the only big contract outside that we had to sign?
Yes, sir. The what we're doing right now, and I didn't print it out because it's not complete, is we're just now starting to order all of the replacement stuff, restocking the detention center and all that. And as people are turning in their list of, all right, this is what was ruined and thrown out, we'll reorder from that list,
We had flood insurance on the detention center, didn't we?
Our policy covers some flood language. It depends on whether or not the building is, yes, we do have flood insurance. Our deductible depends on whether or not the facility was in a flood zone. If it was in a flood zone, we have a higher deductible than if it was not in a flood zone.
Right, is it a
obviously. So
percentage deductible, is it a fixed rate? You don't,
we haven't, the adjuster has come out and looked at everything. We've torn down, cleaned up, whatever. He's come out again and looked at everything so that we can get our initial deposit for insurance. FEMA's done the same thing. We've submitted some estimates. Our best guess is to go ahead and get some cash flow in, but that's sort of where we're at. We've not been billed for a lot of the stuff that we've incurred yet, because it takes 30 to 45 days to start getting bills in. So as soon as we can actually have something to show you, right now it's just
Yes.
my best guess on what it's costing us so far.
the money that we're expending every day to put prisoners out of the parish, is that something is that insurance related expense? Is that gonna be a FEMA related, or are we gonna bear the cost of that 100%?
We're waiting to find that out. We've
We
asked
don't
both
have a-
insurance.
We don't even have a wag on what that's gonna be at this point in time.
We're hoping at least they may cover the portion during the emergency protective measures category, because that was an emergency protective measure, but outside of that, we may not get reimbursed.
Okay, all right.
But we've posed that question to both, and we're waiting on responses.
Y'all got any other questions for Jennifer?
No, sir.
Nope, I don't believe.
Under other business,
Okay.
the audit, 2017 audit. You need a contract signed and in place for the first of the year.
Yep,
When do we need to do RFQs?
we're working on it right now.
Okay,
My
so we're
purchasing agent, she's-
addressing that we're gonna get new
Yes, sir.
RFQs, and we'll make a decision before the end of the year.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We will put all the materials, jail medical contract, the audit, the banking physical agent. We're gonna notify you of a whole list of stuff that's going out, and then once they submit, we'll come to you for approval.
Okay. Anything else y'all need to talk about?
Ms. Cole,
Y'all gotta get a motion for an adjournment?
make that motion.
Got a motion, Mr. R, do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Girlinghouse, any objection? Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.